Sixers will play in their first back-to-back this season, starting on Monday night against the Orlando Magic. They remain undefeated after winning 2 close games against the Celtics and Hornets, but are now preparing to face off against a Magic team looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Welcome on into the NZ for 3 Sixers preview show, where we're continuing to break down these matchups to give you everything you need to know before game time. So hit that like and subscribe button if you're new around here. I appreciate it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get down into Sixers versus Magic. First and foremost, we have breaking news. Joel Embiid and Dominick Barlow have been downgraded to out against the Magic. The Sixers will be playing without 2 starters. So in this preview, we're going to talk about what Nick Nurse is going to do in response, discuss the potential changing of the frontcourt rotation, delve into the Magic's rough start to the season, and give our keys to the game. So it was reported a couple hours ago by some notable Sixers reporters. They did release the injury report, and it has Embiid and Barlow listed as out next to Jared McCain, Paul George, and Trent Watford. All those players will not be playing against the Magic, and this sucks, man. This sucks because I've been enjoying Dom Barlow so much throughout this season. His intensity, attacking the glass, cutting, and just doing all the little things for this team, making those winning plays, ones that don't show up in the box score, but if you're watching the game, you know Dom Barlow is one of the most important players on the floor at all times, with his ability to keep up with these keep the offensive possessions going and get some good hustle points for the Sixers, especially when it comes to knocking that ball out when he's crashing the glass. Sometimes he doesn't even go and try and secure the offensive rebound, but instead try and get Maxey and Grimes and VJ a good shot by kicking it out to them and initiating some more offense. So Dom Barlow, he's been great. He has been a steal this offseason. Everyone was just thinking, oh, he was just a random two-way signing. He's got some upside. He's a great athlete, but he can't really do anything else. He's probably going to be waived soon. He went from a two-way signing, that no one was talking about, to a starter on this team, a team that is 2-0 and had 2 really impressive wins. And he was a big part of the Celtics game, and he was doing great in the Hornets game, but unfortunately he had that right elbow laceration during, I think, the second quarter, and he didn't play the rest of the game. We do not yet know the status of Barlow, but we hope he gets well soon and that he can get back on the court. Embiid, on the other hand, this seems to be the typical procedure with Embiid where he gets rested on back-to-backs, but did it have to be against the Orlando Magic? I saw this comment saying makes no sense that Embiid is out for the Magic but playing versus the Wizards, and it got me thinking. The Magic, they have an extremely big team with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Goga Bitadze, Wendell Carter Jr., Jonathan Isaac, and big guards too like Jalen Suggs. And the Sixers, they have they don't have any of their front court starters, and having Embiid, not having him as an interior presence. Now, his interior defense has not been great, but he's still a 7-footer and was at least playing a lot better. Had 20 points against the Hornets. At least offensively, he was looking a lot better, and having him out, especially with the way he's able to set screens and really operate with Maxey and Grimes and help them out and shot creating, that has been huge for the Sixers. Him, making all these defenders have to go under screens, go over him, and him blocking them and getting at least that open space for such lethal shooters like Maxey and Grimes. It has been huge, and the huge reason why the Sixers have been able to win these games and shoot so well from 3. The Sixers, I think they're 12th ranked in 3-point attempts and are number 1 in 3-point percentage. Now, all the stats I'm going to be listing in this video, they are recorded as of October 26th, so the rankings are a little bit subject to change, but still, the Sixers have been one of the most lethal shooting teams in the league, and having Embiid not be setting screens and also be a floor spacing presence as well. I think he did drain 3 threes against the Hornets. He can get hot from beyond the arc. That's going to sting a little bit. You do have Adem Bona and Andre Drummond, and Drummond has been playing a lot better as of late. I mean, this was his first, main appearance. He wasn't really good against the Celtics, barely got any playing time, but against the Hornets, man, he was awesome. 13 rebounds in 15 or so minutes, was having some, initiating some great outlet passes to the guards, and doing the same thing Embiid was by getting out early to Maxey, VJ, and Grimes when they're getting out in transition. Kelly Oubre too. Drummond had a lot of great passes to Oubre. He had that one offensive rebound to kick it out to Oubre from the wing, and he drained that 3. Another one when Oubre was leaking out. Andre decided to go flip it over to him. It was great. And Drummond, he was making a lot of plays, both offensively and defensively, and he must have had one of the worst toe injuries in human history. I said that in the post-game video because he looks so much more spry, and the Sixers are going to need his rebounding presence if they're going to beat the Orlando Magic. I'm going to say it right now. The Magic, their ethos is that they are a extremely athletic team. They are big, and the way they're going to produce offense, it's by attacking the interior and by getting to the line and drawing fouls. So Drummond and Bona, they're going to have to step it up big time. I don't know if Adem Bona is going to be starting. Tell me that 2 months ago, if in a scenario where Embiid's out and you have Adem Bona be the backup center, I'd call you crazy because Drummond, did not play that well last season. But, the way Drummond was really dominating in the interior, especially when you had Diabate and Kalkbrenner just kill you on the glass, it was huge. And that swung the game, that swung the momentum in the Sixers' favor. And Andre Drummond can very well start against the Magic and have him battle against Goga Bitadze and Wendell Carter Jr. Now, Adem Bona, he definitely needs to be better as well. I think he will eventually have a game where he's going to go and give 8 rebounds, a bunch of offensive rebounds. It could be against the Magic, and it's gonna have to be against the Magic, man, because the Magic, they have great rebounding, they have great interior slashing ability. Now, if there's one silver lining for the Sixers, it is that the Magic are still trying to figure things out. They're 1-2 so far, and won their season opener against the Miami Heat, but dropped their last 2 against the Atlanta Hawks, a respectable playoff team in the East, and the Chicago Bulls, who should be tanking, hopefully are tanking, and that was an especially ugly loss. They are showing that they still really don't know how to, implement Desmond Bane into the offense, and he was one of the biggest offseason acquisitions, and made the Magic, a true contender in the East in a lot of fans' eyes, given that they finally have had some spacing for Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. You added Tyus Jones as well, who shot 40% from 3 on 5 attempts with the Phoenix Suns last season. And what the Magic were doing, it was reminding me kind of what the Sixers did back in 2021 after the disastrous Al Horford year. They went out and got Seth Curry and Danny Green to open up the floor for Embiid and Simmons, and they had one of the best seasons in the process era. And that kind of reminded me of what the Magic were doing, having 2 players who, aren't the most efficient from the 3-point line and, could clog the paint, but having those guys to go and open up the floor, that can help them out a lot. And on paper, this Magic team, they have better shooting, but it's still not enough. It is still not enough. Desmond Bane has not been shooting well from 3 this season, 5 threes a game, and on 27%. We did mention Tyus Jones already, and they tried doing it last season with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He did not play well for them, and it just shows that the Magic, they still lack floor spacing. I mean, they're doing the same thing that we know the Magic have been, establishing their identity as. They have a 108 defensive rating. That's 5th in the NBA, but also with a 104 offensive rating, 29th in the league. Combine that with their 28 3-point attempts per game, that's 27th in the league, and then their putrid, dead last, 28% 3-point percentage. So this Magic team, they are not really a threat from the perimeter, which is a little bit of a relief for me because the Sixers, they've still had problems closing out on the perimeter. Now, they did get a little bit lucky because the Hornets, they were getting some pretty open shots in the fourth quarter. They just were not converting on them. And if there's one thing that the Sixers can rely on, it is the Magic, shooting themselves in the foot. Also ranking bottom in the league in turnovers, 19 turnovers a game. VJ could very well have 6 steals in this game, and if you're taking that, I would take that over because VJ, he can anticipate the passes so well. In the Magic, they've shown they can't really take care of the ball, and having someone like VJ who's not only a freak athlete but also has that mental side of the defensive end locked down, anticipating that next pass before anybody else, and being able to get his hands in the passing lane and maneuver around screens, break up pick and rolls, and dribble handoffs. It's been awesome seeing VJ defensively, especially given his freakish athletic plays. I mean, this clip speaks for itself right here. Just being able to soar and get that block. Now, the Hornets did end up draining a 3 from this possession, so that did dim things a little bit. If the Sixers were able to not let them score in that possession, I think a lot more fans would be talking about it. But still, man, that just shows VJ, he is in the 99th percentile of NBA athletes, and I'm loving every second of it. We could very well see the Sixers try to pack the paint. Andre Drummond reinforcing the interior and having maybe someone like Jabari Walker going in the system. He's nice, big, and burly and can help, on drives with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They like to get physical as well. You need to match them with some other big bodies. That's why I've been a little bit, worried about Adem Bona and what role he's going to play in this game if Nurse even trusts him against the Magic, because the Magic, we did mention the amount of free throws they take. They like to get to the line and exploit players like Adem Bona, who can get a little bit too physical at times and is just still a little bit too undisciplined. We could see Nurse, really go full towards Drummond, the more experienced player, and it would make sense because Drummond, he was amazing in the Hornets game. It is just one game, but he was still making much more of an impact on both sides of the ball than Bona was. It just seems like Bona, he just seems lost out there and just really hasn't figured it out yet. Now, he is young, he is raw, he still has a lot of great tools, still has that athleticism, and he is due for a game eventually. I just don't know if it's at this point in the season. It could take him a while to really, fit in. The Sixers also need to stop getting punched in the face every third quarter. I mean, the Celtics had 35 in the third, the Hornets 38. They were outscoring the Sixers big time, and those teams, the most points that they scored in all of those quarters, it came in the third quarter. It just seems like the Sixers, they always come out with a little bit of a slower step, a little more, lackadaisical, less aggressive, less transition buckets. I mean, these transition buckets that the Sixers get, not only are you getting easy points, but you're also maintaining the momentum for the game. It goes a long way, just getting those easy baskets, and the Hornets defense is not that good. The Celtics defense was not that good, but the Magic, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and having, Quentin Grimes recognize VJ leaking, going out to the rim. VJ, his ability to finish at the rim has been amazing, just superb. I mean, all of the criticisms he was getting out of college and into the NBA was his ball handling, which, makes a little bit more sense. He did have some turnovers with his handle just bouncing off his knee against the Hornets, and his shooting, it's been so much, it just got completely 100% wrong. VJ is now one of the best shooters in the league. We'll see, how long that lasts as the season goes on, but still, what VJ he's able to do, man, is just impact the game in so many ways, not just, being as a shooter, but also as a great distributor. Noticing Grimes leaking out, and then he gets that finish, and Quentin Grimes, he has been awesome. And if the Sixers don't want to get destroyed in the third quarter, they need to rely on guys like him who can just get hot at any moment. We already saw this play with him leaking out. Love those transition buckets from the Sixers, but also here too. I mean, these Hornets players, they had decent contests on him. They had hands in his face. It just didn't matter. Grimes has, that gold, blinders badge in 2K. I mean, Trey Mann had a hand in his face. It did not matter. Grimes is just being able to be one of the most amazing shooters the Sixers have had in a while, and having Embiid's gravity not be a factor in this game it's going to be huge, because it's going to be harder for the Sixers to get such easy shots. The Magic are one of the best defensive teams in the league, and you're not going to have a guy like Embiid out there who's going to draw a bunch of defenders. So the Sixers, they're going to have to try and get these buckets. They need to match the Magic's pace, go out, get in transition, find those, easy scoring opportunities, and don't get destroyed in the third quarter. It's going to be a lot harder if they get to a 10-point deficit once again, and then allow the Magic to stay in control of the game. So that leads us into the keys of the game, Sixers versus Magic. The first thing the Sixers need to do is that they need to limit those rebounding numbers. They got to keep up with the Magic when it comes to cleaning the glass. The Magic, they have a lot more imposing big men than both the Hornets and the Celtics, and the Sixers, they're going to be without Dominick, Barlow, and Joel Embiid. So Andre Drummond, Adem Bona, Jabari Walker, they're gonna have to step it up a lot. I mean, the closing lineup for the Sixers, it was Maxey, Grimes, Oubre, VJ, and Drummond. So Nurse, he's not really committed to going full small ball like he did against the Celtics. The keys to the game are relatively straightforward, since the Magic are a team with clear strengths and weaknesses. First, you gotta protect the paint, make sure the Magic won't just waltz right into the lane, ice those screens, communicate on defense, and avoid as much drop coverage as possible. Andre Drummond, Adembona, and Jabari Walker. Make sure that they are corralling those rebounds and limiting the amount of second chance points Orlando can get. And then they need to capitalize off those turnovers, get some points off turnovers, make the Magic pay for being sloppy with the basketball, then limit the amount of fouls. The Magic also like to draw fouls and get at the free throw line, so make sure you're being disciplined defensively. And then you just got to keep moving the ball, man. The Sixers have one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. Utilize those off-ball screens. Make sure you're getting open shots from Maxey, VJ Grimes, even, Kelly Oubre and Justin Edwards, who have been hot as of late. Make sure it's an overall team effort, because it's going to need to be one with Embiid and Barlow out. Thank you for sticking around this long to the NZ for 3 Sixers preview show. Should be a good game. Given the Magic's talent, this could be the Sixers' biggest test of the season so far. Going to look forward to the way VJ Edgecombe responds to, a pretty legit defense. It should be a good time. And, yeah, man, I'm excited. And the Sixers are finally watchable again. And I'm sure all fans are happy about that. And that's pretty much it, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.